Hey guys, Ramblin' Man Moto here. I wanted to take some time to talk about the Trump assassination attempt now that kind of a couple of days have passed. And, this channel is primarily about um, motorcycling and the freedom of the road, but without the freedoms we enjoy in this country in general, we wouldn't be able to enjoy the hobbies we enjoy and the things that we do. And my voice on this topic isn't any more important than anyone else's. And heck, many people may not even see it, but it's important to me. So I'm going to just share a few thoughts about what transpired over the weekend. I've seen some comments and videos from other people like you guys, I'm sure, talking about how Christians should respond to events like this. I am a Christian, but I would not take it as far as telling you how to interpret the Bible on something like this. I think that that's a very personal thing, and you need to decide for yourself what you believe about it. I find often that people will pick verses that fit more of the agenda that they have going into it. And I don't want to be guilty of that as well. You've got to seek and find the answers that you think are right between you and your conscience and your God on that stuff. I want to look at it from the experiences and background and views that I bring to to the table with my background, just like you guys have your own background. Every election year, we hear about these so-called undecided voters, and they're treated as if they are, you know, just really intellectual, and they are really deciding and analyzing the candidates and parsing through all the info. And candidates have to spend all this time, shoring up their base in the primary elections and then in the general election, courting these so-called undecided voters. And I have always enjoyed studying history, and really took more of an interest in politics in my senior year in high school and going into the first couple of years of college. And I actually thought I was going to run for elected office at one point. Did a bunch of campaigning for people. That's all kind of in the rearview mirror. But I would never describe myself as an undecided voter. I decided pretty early on what role I thought the government should play in the affairs of its citizens. Um, what role the government should play when it comes to taxing our income. Your money is your personal property, and the government is taking some of it by taxes. And I have a view on that, on the Second Amendment and firearms, immigration, the border, crime, um, all of it. I have views about what role I think the government should play in those things. And because of that, it makes it very easy to pick a candidate that I'm going to vote for in a general election. Now, primary elections, where think back when Trump was running, and they had all these Republicans up on the stage. It was ridiculous, and it was tough that year. There were different people. Um, we actually took Marco Rubio came literally within walking distance of our house where we lived at the time, and we took our kids up there just as a historic thing to kind of see Marco, and they got their picture. My wife and kids got their picture taken with Marco. That was cool. And but in a general election, it's pretty clear there's one party that thinks more like I do, and the fact that some of these undecided voters would make decisions on who to vote for based on who has the most signs up, who's wearing the best tie, who has the most campaign workers that are out there handing out leaflets. Campaigns do these things because they know that's how these undecided voters make up their mind. And in moments like this, of what happened this weekend, the politicians know that you go out and say things like, this is the time we must unite and come together, and, God bless our country, and we're praying for Donald, when they don't mean it. And they know that that's what you're supposed to say at a moment like this. And I've become quite cynical on all of it. I think if you looked across a social media post, some of the liberals and Democrats showed their true feelings by saying things like they really wish the assassin had been successful. Just vile thinking. And you can think what you want, but I'm trusting that there's many Democrats that think that way, but were smart enough not to verbalize it publicly. Whereas some of the younger people that are, and others, not, they weren't all young, but people who upchuck their whole lives on social media posted their true thoughts. Some have lost their jobs over it, but that's what they're thinking. And I was, thinking about like when Rush Limbaugh died. I'm sure most of you know who Rush Limbaugh is, conservative talk show host who died of lung cancer. When he died, there were many, many tweets from liberals celebrating his death, simply because they have different political views than he does. I remember seeing some saying they never thought they would be grateful for cancer. Just vile stuff. And I know, like, when Ted Kennedy died. Now, Ted Kennedy, liberal Democrat, I didn't agree with almost anything, if anything, that he agreed with. But when he died, I remember, talking to my family about it's just kind of weird that he won't be there. As it was kind of an institution. I definitely didn't celebrate and gloat. It's just bizarre to me. We took our kids to see Mitt Romney when he was running against Obama. Again, he was real close to the House. We thought, hey, this is a historic moment. We got to shake Romney's hand and had about a 30-second conversation with him. And, it was just cool. And as we're leaving that event, there's these 3 black women that are screaming at the top of their lungs at all of us, F you, and F you for voting for Mitt Romney, F all of you. And Romney's motorcade was swinging around, and they made us kind of stop. And these 3 black women, both fingers up, F Mitt Romney, F Mitt Romney. And we had to talk to our kids about how to comport yourself in public and how to persuade and influence people's thinking. And it's not by doing that. But obviously there was an attempt at intimidation, and whatever your motivation is, I can say that lots of Democrats have come and campaigned in Virginia as a swing state. It never crossed my mind to haul the family in and go and yell, F you at their voters and F you at the candidate as he goes by. It's just not in my thinking. And are there people on my side that might do that? Yeah, probably so. But to act like this is something new, it's just not. I was in Chicago the night that Trump beat Hillary. I was there on work, and I have an iPhone recording from 6 stories up. Our hotel was across the street from the Trump Tower. And 6 floors up, I heard these chants, F Donald Trump, F Donald Trump, mobs of people. And they were holding signs. And I remember texting my wife, said, if you see me on Fox News holding a sign that says, F Donald Trump, I'm just trying to get to the steakhouse safely, I got to get to dinner. And these people on the street were stopping people and asking them if they voted for Trump, and, roughing them up and giving them a hard time. And it's just, to me, it's more common that behavior is on one side of the aisle. I know everyone's going to bring up January 6th and the riots there, but lest we forget the whole summer of riots and division that has been brought on with the apocalyptic talk about this election and other elections. I think social media has just brought a coarsening of society, of all these keyboard warriors, but also everybody wants to, share their political views and get attention by being vile to each other, and politics is no exception. The reason I say all that as a lead up is at times like this, there's these brief moments that happened after 9/11 where both sides, we must unite, we must come together. They don't mean it. It's just what you say. Because it takes about 2 minutes for all that to unravel. One of the Democrats, Rahm Emanuel, was famous for saying, "You never let a crisis go to waste."
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
Well, here we are. There's already talk about banning the AR-15. It's just like the AR-15 is an inanimate object. There's millions of them in circulation. A small percentage of them are used in criminal behavior. You just want to take away people's freedoms. You want to punish the law-abiding citizen by focusing on what he chose to use as a weapon. He had bombs in his car. We're gonna eliminate the materials for that. Every time there's a drunk driver that kills somebody, we don't talk about banning alcohol and banning vehicles. It's just it bothers me so much, and I say all that to lead up to there is no uniting and compromising with these people. You just defeat them. You defeat them politically. You fight them at every turn. And by that, I mean like in the workplace. This whole DEI movement that's in the workplace is nothing more than another way for liberal values. What can't be accomplished legislatively gets done through intimidation and coercion in the corporate world. And the only way to beat it is to defeat it. And or as Biden said, at the battle box, you know.
In America, we resolve our differences at the battle box. You know, that's how we do it, at the battle box.
We do need to fight these things at the ballot box. That's it for me. There's no uniting. There's no coming together. Now, the undecideds are, you know, chewing their fingernails, trying to decide who to vote for. And to me, I know that whoever's at the top of that ticket, say in Virginia, it's for governor. For the country, it's the president. I don't care how they dress, how rude they sound. I just, do you share my belief in the role of government in the lives of its citizens? But importantly, if you decide, hey, I don't like that guy's personality, so I'm going to vote for the other candidate. Well, that just shows me you really don't have a view on the role of government. You're just randomly deciding who to vote for. But also, whatever bills get sent up to that person that's in that office, they have the option of signing those bills or vetoing them. And you've just signed on that if the other party is controlling the legislative part of the body, you're getting all these bills passed that may not be what you agree with at all, but because you didn't like the personality of the guy, or for whatever reason, you didn't have a core philosophy. Here in Virginia, our governor, Youngkin, just vetoed a bunch of extreme, loony gun bills that came out of our General Assembly. Now, if somebody had not voted for him as governor, we would have had all these loony, anti-freedom gun bills. All these gun bills they pass, and the current gun bills that are on the books, nobody wants to enforce. And we all know why. But anyhow, it's like you've got to establish your core philosophy and not just randomly go along with, I'm going to vote for the best candidate. You've got to have a core philosophy and think about the role of government. And you're not just voting for the person at the top. You're voting for legislatively what's going to get pushed through and signed or vetoed. And when I think about that, there's no debating. There tends to be one party that thinks the way I do on this. And that's it. There's no compromise. There's no uniting. There's just defeating the opposition. And I think about the Trump family and what their kids would have thought seeing their dad's head blown up on TV. And the fact that there's a certain political faction that relishes that could have happened and that we were so close. It's disgusting. It's just disgusting. And anyhow, I think that, we talk to our kids about this. We still are. We're all kind of analyzing, thinking about what we think about it. But But I look at everything through a political lens because it's all political. Every word they're saying, every action is just political, often on both sides. So I look at core philosophies, and unfortunately, in the arena of education, entertainment, science, and government, there's always this effort to control thought. I'm probably leaving out one, the media, if I didn't say that. Entertainment and media, education. You have to constantly beat this crap back because there's no uniting, there's no compromising. You just have to defeat them. So that may piss some of you off. Some of you may agree with it, but I'm still kind of working through some of this myself. But I know for one thing, I know who I'm voting for. I'm not an undecided voter at all. So that's it on that. Back to the fun of our hobby. I'll see you on the road.